Glorious Gaming, which is going to be Abathur. And
the Abathur ban?
Abathur ban. And the second ban is going to be Tassadar. We're on the map Blackheart's Bay, which is something that I think most of the competitive scene agrees is not a great map. I still love it because I'm me. But most of the competitive scene says, Blackheart's Bay, not that great.
Yeah, well, it's one of the only maps that you can win without fighting in theory. Yeah. If the teams basically are like ships in the night and they just turn in and then they go off into their PvE and they get more coins and they turn in and then all of a sudden the core is dead from cannon fire, it's a very frustrating feeling, especially for the team that kind of gets the raw end of the early game stick.
I think it's just a type of map that I think a lot of people are not used to, especially in Heroes of the Storm, where a lot of things kind of focuses on getting hero damage and hero fights in, whereas this one kind of is more PvE kind of based in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of jungle camps, there's a lot of different things you can do that just kind of circumvent getting those team fights in. I think a lot of people don't like that, and it's like because it's just so jarring compared to everything else. But at the same time, I think it's a really cool map because it punishes you for being ahead by forcing you to have more and more coins each time you want to turn in. But that's just me. So let's take a look at the picks. We do have Glorious picked out Tychus for their first pick. So we are going to be seeing the Bandit. What is he? I forget what he's called. He's got a cool little subtitle. So we're going to be seeing Tychus coming out here from Glorious. And then we've got McIntyre picking Stitches and Nazebo, still forgetting the second T on Stitches, but whatever. Barrel
We'll
Boys.
Forgive him if he wins. Well, and only if
I will still not forgive him. Notorious Outlaw, that's what Tychus' subtitle is.
That is true. Yeah. Renegade Commander and the Notorious Outlaw.
Yeah, Renegade Commander. That's such a cool title. I want half these titles. I want like these subtitles for my job.
I want the Renegade Outlaw and the Notorious Commander. That's going to have these immediately.
Anyway, so we've got then, so Barrel Boys does pick up the Stitches and Nazebo, so we're seeing Nazebo coming out again. Barrel Boys does some really awesome Nazebo play. Their Stitches is pretty decent as well. And then we see Glorious coming back out with Arthas Vala.
So that's already the beginnings of your Assassin Core. You got the Tychus, you got the Vala. There's no Falstad. I'm going to assume that he's going to be a very high priority pick. If it's not going to go the way of Barrel Boys, then we could actually have another triple comp here from Glorious. But with the Abathur out and the Tassadar out, we still don't have those melee DPSs, and we've been seeing quite a few of that today. We've seen Kerrigans, we've seen Zeratools, and we've seen both on Glorious in the past. So I'm not entirely too sure which way they want to go from there. But the counter from McIntyre here is going to be the Zeratool and the Brightwing. And there it is. It's actually going to lead us immediately, like without hesitation. Kerrigan is going to come out into an Uther. That's going to be your support. And it is going to be that triple assassin comp here. But once again, the barrels are bringing some heart, bringing this heart some joy, because I absolutely love seeing Sergeant Hammer out here. But Sergeant Hammer on this map is definitely more susceptible to ganks, definitely less niche, I want to say. I mean, it can definitely still work, and I have some ideas about what they're going to do with it, but at the same time, this is the second time we've seen the barrels now bring that forward.
I was playing a solo queue game earlier today, and it was just the Hammer was just able to sit there and just deny you from handing in coins for so long with Napalm Strike. And especially when they start picking up all the mine talents and everything else, you can really just stop people from doing things for so long, and you don't even have that much of an area that you have to run back to really kind of get back to being in a defensive and safe spot. So Hammers are really good just for doing that. Unfortunately, this map really requires a lot of mobility, so I'm not really sure on that Hammer pick. I guess we'll kind of see how that all folds out, but we've got a pretty decent team on both sides. I'm really curious to see how both these teams are going to be playing. But right now, I kind of have to give the competition to Glorious.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more traditional, and if you'd like, sir, you can give the go-ahead and we'll get this rolling. But triple assassin against double specialist. That's Nazebo and Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah.
That's not something we see every day at all.
It really, really isn't. I mean, they're both kind of range damage assassins in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways they have some other things that they kind of do too. So, we're going to have to kind of watch that. We're going to have to see how this goes. That's what is so awesome about such an early stage of the meta. Like, where we are with Heroes of the Storm right now. And I think that's what's so exciting about it, is that, you know, we were having a digression before about how Malfurion's going to get his heroic talent. We're seeing things like double specialists coming out here in our game today right now. So that's what's so great about just such a loose meta that's kind of formed around.
All right, so to switch it up, guys, we've seen them power through. Oh, who have they actually even toppled today? Team's Heroes Hype went down 1-0. SMG went down 1-0, and the 2-arc Ilya dropped to these boys in the barrel. The barrel boys here on the red. Curse Fury, Blinks, McIntyre. That leaves us with Trummel and a base drop. And in terms of a siege tank, especially in a solo queue, if there's anything to take away about a siege tank, go into the bottom lane, guys. You have a lot of movements that you can be looking for in terms of the gank. So yeah, going into the bottom, I fully support that, but I don't think Trummel's going to support it.
Oh!
Either way, who's on the blue side here, Mr. Kevin?
Did not go so well. I mean, that's one thing you always have to be really careful about, especially when you don't see anybody at the top. But let's talk about the blue side. Let's talk about who just got first blood. It is none other than Glorious Gaming. Glaurung playing Kerrigan as the little bat. Look at that scary little thing. ZP's on Arthas. His, king is basically everything that ZP's loves to play is Arthas. Syracuse playing Vala at the top here. We've got the Notorious Outlaw. Kothonlock playing Tychus, and Narak playing Uther down here with the epic Uther skin too.
Master, that's Master skin, right?
Yeah, that's Master skin.
So yeah, putting a siege tank into the bottom lane, you can really use the fog to your advantage. You might not be able to get the control of the chest that you kind of want there, but at the same time, you know, ZPs and crew, they came immediately down south taking a guess that the siege tank was going to be there, and they set up the ambush. They got Trummel for it instead of base drop, but you know, this is what you would typically do with the siege tank. You have, again, just a lot of space to play around here that you can siege up against these towers, and so you can really actually play a lot of havoc with solo queue, and you talked about that earlier.
So already, I mean, we've seen that the coins have already been turned in from Glorious Gaming. They have 8 out of 10 already, so they just need to hand in 2 more, and they're going to be able to get that first cannon shot. But the question is whether or not they're going to take out that first tower in the mid lane, and that allows you to get an instant fort if you actually take out one of those towers, so that the cannons don't have to spend their shells on it. Or if they're just gonna go for it straight up. It looks like right now they are gonna go for the Giants as they spawn at 2 minutes, and that's gonna give them the extra 2 coins. And we'll see if they're gonna go for that turn in immediately, or if they're gonna try and get that tower first.
Well, Narak and Syracuse actually do have 1 each, so we do actually have all 10 ready to go. And are we even holding? We are actually not even holding any coins whatsoever here from the Barrel Boys. So, you know, playing to your advantage here on the Blackhearts, it's all about the coins. You can fight for days, but whoever turns in the coins is basically going to get the big advantage. And it does look like it will be a turn-in going the way of Glorious. You can see Narak on it right now, but they went for the Bruisers bottom, and I don't think the Barrels are going to give that up without a fight.
Yeah, they are kind of posturing around here. Base drop is now finally going to siege up. ZP's very, very low in health, but this is going to be a 4v4 fight here. Now Glaurung taking a lot of damage. They are standing on the point. Are they actually going to get it? It looks like Glorious Gaming is going to be shoved off Trummel, and the rest of Barrel Boys are actually being very, very smart in standing in that spot perfectly. Narak taking so much damage. Is he going to go down? No, he survives. No, the last slam from Curse Fury is going to actually clean him up, and now they've got the Bruisers, and they are starting to take out that bottom gate as well as the 2 towers with it.
Yeah, the entire team of the Barrels came down into the bottom lane, and with those Bruisers, they're able to clean up this gate. So they get themselves the kills. Did they lost Brightwing, I believe. No, he's right there.
No,
Brightwing not even died?
Yeah, nobody died.
Wow, he was so low. I kind of actually just wrote him off in my books, but they didn't get the kills. Or Glorious didn't get the kills. They didn't get the camp. They lose out their gate. But they do lose out the fort in the mid because there was a turn-in on the all back of that. And Tychus was the only person not in the bottom lane. He actually has been soaking not only top, but he came down and was able to push out the mid as well. So despite what looked unfavorable for Glorious because of the works there of Kothonlock and that turn-in, they're still maintaining that level lead.
Now here's the big disadvantage here of having a Sergeant Hammer. Look at where Glorious is positioned right now. They're all 3 top. They're going to be able to get Curse Fury probably out of here because of how much CC they have using that Arthas, Kerrigan, Roam, as well as the Tychus with the grenades. Yeah. That's going to give them 3 people who are really good at PvE. And you know what that could easily lead into? is they could possibly just go straight for that Grave Golem. Now, the chest did spawn. They're probably going to actually focus on that right now just so they can get another turn in really quick. But these are the kinds of things that you can take advantage of because of that immobility of Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, I mean, if she's going to be in this bottom lane, she's going to be in this bottom lane. There's not going to be a lot of roaming going back and forth, and this is why, because you get caught out in the jungle, you have no mount, you only have your thrusters, and especially against the powerhouse combo of Kerrigan and Arthas, it's so hard to kind of juke out of that. So much CC available to them, so level 10 advantage now, sir.
Yeah, and you know, pretty much all the standard things. We see Strafe, Army of the Dead, Divine Storm, Maelstrom, and Odin coming out here for Glorious Gaming. They've got all of their heroics available, and now they can just get free turn-ins without having to worry about anything because no team favorably wants to go into a level 9 versus level 10 engagement. And that's going to be probably top fort here. Yeah, that's going to be definitely
There's no
top
gates.
fort.
Yeah, they took out the gate, and that's, what, 11 and a half or so?
Yeah. So that's going to be a really huge advantage here for Glorious yet again. And right now, I mean, this is one of the big problems that I see a lot is that a lot of teams will just kind of circle around the fort that's being hit like it's going to actually do that much. And really, there's not much they can do. I think they are trying to posture here to stop this Grave Golem grab. But again, Zebo's got to come all the way up from bot lane. They know that this is potentially going to be an engagement, and
Void Prison?
This is going to be difficult. This could be a Void Prison still, you're right.
Well, that's going to be the Putrid Bile going down. That's going to be the Void Prison on top of that, but it's the setup for the Ravenous ZPs is for sure toast. Trumbull in the back there. Nobody's going to be able to stop this, so it's a full-length Ravenous. We did actually start that off with the hook, so I'm not entirely too sure. It's actually off cooldown right now, and it looks like they'll stop the Golem and only take home the kill on ZPs. So, of course, yeah, well, why not? Let's stay around and try to fight some.
Stay a while and listen, and let's see if they can actually get a really good fight here from Barrel Boys. Cursed Fury, though, really low. He can't even really be too much of a tank in that last fight. He does get his E off, and oh, Base Drop does use a really nice concussive blast to actually push everybody away. But again, they're kind of just giving this back up to Glorious, and it looks like Glorious is yet again posturing to go for that Grave Golem.
Yep, here comes ZPs. I mean, ZPs at level 9 with Rune Tap. Arthas can almost solo it just by himself, so... now him with an entire team, this is for sure going to be their way. I don't think, even with a hook, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a slam and everything. They're going to try and take out Narak, but it's not going to be too successful considering it's Uther. And here comes Cursed Fury trying to do as much as he possibly can. Blink's now caught after using his Emerald Wind to try and split everybody apart, but that was just a little bit disorganized, and Glorious Gaming was able to take perfect advantage of that. Glorious is coming out so well here. They've got so much map advantage. They have so much of map control, and now they've got the entire, almost all of the jungle for themselves.
They're playing to the objectives, which is, again, why a lot of the teams we don't really see being played out in this map, because they'd rather fight. They'd rather fight over the objectives. They'd rather fight each other rather than just fight the objectives themselves. Because look at this, more coins in the pockets here. 5, 10, that's going to be a turn-in, almost guaranteed. That's going to be the destruction of this bottom fort. And that little mule who's been working overtime in this bottom lane from Nazebo is just absolutely going to get shattered.
Yeah, he's not going to have a good time. And yeah, I think that's going to be that bottom fort as well, especially because now Glorious is kind of posturing themselves to go for that. They're getting both the Giants and the Bruisers at the same time, and this is just, it's going to be really difficult to see if there's going to be any type of turnaround on this coming out here from Barrel Boys.
6 shots. Will 6 shots take out a fort? That's what I'm curious about.
2, 3.
And there goes the mule.
Okay. That's going to be 6.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep, 3 shots. Going to definitely take out that fort.
So it takes 5 cannonballs to take out a fort, and that's actually now going to land into the gate, or sorry, into the fountain there into the mid. So yeah, again, a little bit more on the back foot here from the Barrel Boys. The first time we've seen them at really a disadvantage in all of our games, but they're also still, again, down with those levels, and they don't have level 13, which means that they don't have that talent tier ready to go, and they're kind of stuck on defense. This is almost exactly what happened with Glorious versus Torpedo. It's just they took control of the map. They played all the objectives, they played all the advantages, and then Glorious was just able to keep them on the defense. And if you can't really push out, you're not really going to have fair really at all.
Yeah, but I mean, that is a really good point to bring up, is that it's really important to be on the defensive. I see a lot of times, like, a team will decide, okay, well, they're going to push with this, they're going to get this massive push going. We're going to try and take a fort at the same time. And it's like, well, sometimes that can actually kind of counteract how much your fort is going to really be able to do for you. Because if you get that small little level advantage and get that one fort, that's not going to stop that giant push that's going to push down something like a keep. And that's really scary here to see whether or not they're going to make the decision to go for the defense or make the defense, make the offense. And kind of going back and forth between those two decisions can almost make a game sometimes.
So we do got the 13 advantage just as we're about to hit 16 here for Glorious. So, you know, you have a small window, and it's going to be landing the hook there on top of Gloron. Nice void present into the back. That's going to be the end of the Kerrigan, almost guaranteed. But, wow, the rewinds are actually coming extremely strong right there. But there we go. It's going to be the trade-off, right wing and crew just for the Kerrigan. That's a 4-man wipe. So much commitment from the Barrel Boys. And Trummel, is he actually going to drop for the entire team wipe? I don't think Cawthon Luck can actually catch up, but if Trummel stops
the Q.
like that...
It's the Q.
Oh,
it's the Q. Oh, there's no one left to fight you. Oh, man, and that's going to be not great. That's going to be at least a keep and potentially 2. I mean, oh, actually, once the Grave Golem up, we got a minute 30 until the Grave Golem's back up. Again, this is what kind of comes down to is, you know, it's a lot of PvE, it's a lot of kind of, you know, taking priority of those objectives, and Glorious has been doing that perfectly all game. They've been going for the Giants first, and then if they can get those Giants into Bruisers, then they go Giants into Bruisers, and if they can go Bruisers into Grave Golem, they do that too. And that's kind of where you kind of just watch them just slowly cascade each of these lanes.
I'm looking at the level 16 talents. It's double Stone Skin, double Blood for Blood, and the Hardened Focus coming out there from the Uther as well. So another turn in. That's going to be... I don't think it'll be the keep. Will it be the keep? One...
No, it's one. Sorry. No.
We keep putting down these mules to their death.
Mule, don't do it! And it just immediately... Well, actually, that shouldn't have died. Anyway. So, yeah. Now it's going to be those Giants, and look at this. This is that cascade I was talking about. They get the Giants, they get a little bit of a map advantage, they know where their enemy is, and then they say, okay, well, we can definitely come in here and make like this little stealth mission to come in. Oh, nice try with the hook from Curse Fury. But they make these little stealth missions, they know exactly where their enemy team is, and they say, well, with 5 people, we can clearly take these Giants in the amount of time that it will take them to respond.
They have 20 right there. This is what
Welcome
you do.
to the International Bank of Glorious.
Yeah,
Take out a mortgage.
That's a really good way to put it. International Bank of Glorious. That's literally this game. We are still on the first turn-in. We haven't been able to hold our coins worth anything here for the Barrel Boys. So I guess barrels aren't that great for holding coins. We found the one weakness of barrels here, Mr. Jonesy.
I think there's a couple more weaknesses to barrels than just not being able to hold coins. We're going to go into...
They go over Niagara Falls sturdy enough. I mean, clearly. They should be able to hold coins.
So yeah, the Grave Golem is going to be look like a little bit stuck in a little bit of a weird spot. The Stopping Wall and the Ravenous Spirit to potentially turn this into some sort of victory. Glaurung does go down. Nirac taking a lot of damage, but Cawthon Luck is in the backline doing so much damage. Blinks immediately gets eviscerated from the Odin base drop. Has to just kind of like spin around and just wait for some sort of advantage where he's going to feel safe enough. And even if you go for, actually really nice hook there on Nirac, are they going to actually be able to turn that into a kill? No, unfortunately not. And this might be yet another situation where it's going to be all 5.
Well, those are bumpy mines. Yeah.
If you can get, he doesn't.
Fury, very smart move out of Fury. He might, like,
go back in.
No, what's he doing? He's going the other way because he's saving base drop.
No, I'm sorry. I meant base drop. I was curious what base drop was going back in. That was my question.
Yeah. If he had done that, that would have been like, I will sacrifice myself for you. No, I will save you. They both die. Like, yeah. Don't do that.
Remember, for just $1 a day, you can base drop. You can double it. So Grave Golem is going to go out, and this is, this situation is becoming a little bit more grave and grave for our friends, the Barrel Boys, but, maybe this just isn't their strongest map. We still have a best of 3 guys, so of course remember that, even if they potentially don't make a miraculous comeback out of this, we do have a couple more games coming out here. But what's the objective now is just make sure you keep those 2 keeps, make sure you're going to not give your opponent these auto-pushing lanes, and really just get one miraculous engagement. One engagement where you're just going to win before Glorious hits level 20. Because if you hit level 20, that's going to be a couple of Resurgences of the Storm. That's going to be a couple of improved Heroics. And
It's only going to be one Resurgence.
potentially two.
Uther will probably go Divine, and that leaves us with Arthas.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it could be potentially two. Depends.
You're right.
How,
Could be. I don't, like, if they hit 20 at the same time that Barrel Boys hit 17, I don't think they're going to be too worried about needing Resurgence to end up the game.
Sure.
Here's the 16 talents for Sergeant Hammer and crew. Of course, you know, the Bumpy Mines, the Bullhead into the Minefield. Brightwing with the Rewind into the Critter Eyes. Nazebo with the Rewind into the Specialized Toxin. So instead of the Gidbin, he did actually go for the Mule, but the Mule on this map, it's great unless you're actually like getting chain turn-in, because then your Mule's not going to help you at all. Like, it's just going to continue to die. And we've seen that continuously as it dies and dies and dies and dies and dies and dies. And because, you know, I'm not going to make the argument that the Mule is actually detracting from the comp. It's just not being used really effectively because of the way the map is.
Let's get to the fun part.
Yeah, and I mean, these cannon shots, they kick like a mule, man. They take out things, everything around it. There's a giant AoE that comes around with this too. And it's funny to also see like Abathur's and Murky Eggs also get taken out in the blast, because that's actually pretty common to see.
Seeing Abathur's die to cannon barrage is
Oh man, it's one of those. Oh come on, man.
sad face. It is sad face. All right, so you said, you know, you got to keep these keeps, right? But this is the big mechanic of this map, the death of keeps, and you can't do anything about it if they get those secured turn-ins.
Oh, but here comes the engagement. CP is getting a really nice Howling Blast, and here comes the Frozen Tempest to slow everybody down. It does go down, and it looks like Barrel Boys is going to be the first death here. As we're going to see, Trumbull go down immediately. Now Blink's taking a lot of damage. He's got to try and get out of here. A little bit of a miss grasp and spike coming out here from Glaurung, but that's okay. They're going to pick up a consolation Curse Fury and 4 coins.
He had the coin.
And,
he was a piggy bank. And he needed
he needed to have the piggy bank mount in order to make sure that he wouldn't give away his coins.
Glorious is just going to go for the kill. I mean, it's 18 kills to 6 now.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough.
It is.
Here for the Barrel Boys, but that's okay. I mean, they came out pretty well so far, but you know, this is a weird map to always prepare for, and that means that Glorious is going to take game number 1 here. Glorious versus the Barrel Boys. Is the victory screen working?
We'll find out in just a sec. So yeah, Glorious Gaming taking game number 1, victory to the blue team, and yes, it is all there. The triple assassin comp once again with the backbone of the Arthas Uther. It's a powerful comp, man.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredibly strong comp there, and not only that, but it seems like Glorious just has this absolute understanding of this map. I mean, they've been playing this map since the alpha started. All of these.
Have we all?
No. I mean, like all the way back in March, and I think most of the Barrel Boys are a little bit newer than that. So, you know, Glorious Gaming has been playing since I think at least the first couple thousand have been released into the game, and so they know the map really well, regardless of whether or not they've been playing as an entire team together for that long. But still, when you play Blackheart's Bay for that long, you're going to have just a really, really strong understanding of it, and that's exactly what they showed.
There was another bigger issue, I think, and that's the drafting. I mean, we had Nazebo and Sergeant Hammer, and then on top of that we had a Zeratul for the consistent DPS. I mean, there's just so little CC available to the Barrel Boys right there.
Yeah.
Like, if they had split up the specialists, they put them in their solo lanes, you know, you left the Sergeant Hammer down south and you put the Nazebo up top, at least then you have a little bit of a chance of having a lane actually push, because what happened early game, right? We had the ambush ready to go bottom lane for the Sergeant Hammer. The Nazebo was down there. The Sergeant Hammer got ganked again. And it's just like putting the two of them together, they never got any push out. They never got any map pressure. They weren't able to do their early game thing because CPs and crew didn't let them.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the bigger problem in terms of the grander scheme of things.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, but it still came down to the Sergeant Hammer. I mean, every single time the Sergeant Hammer, kind of poked out in bot lane, they're like, all right, well, let's just go take everything in top lane. And then as soon as everybody had to go deal with something in top lane, they were pushing down bot lane and getting all the stuff, cascading that lane yet again. Except for that one Knights fight, and even then, that actually went really well for Barrel Boys, but unfortunately, it was just, as soon as that fight ended, they were like, all right, well, Barrel Boys kept their Sergeant Hammer down bot, let's go top lane. They just 4-man, 3-man top, and they were able to make that into a Grave Golem play. And that's, kind of where, Glorious was really taking that great advantage of kind of abusing the immobility and the strong setup that Barrel Boys could have if they have enough time to set up these things. Glorious was just kind of chugging to each decision. There was no point where they were just taking a second to really think about what they wanted to do. They were just there. As soon as you were deciding, as soon as they wanted to, think about the next thing they wanted to do. And it was smart. It was a very smart play for them.
The Kerrigan with the rewind, I mean, that's just so much CC. She has the gap closer. She has the CC. Your backline has to be very careful. You also had the Brightwing with the rewind, so the double polymorph. They had, the amount of CC between the two teams are just absolutely phenomenal on the level of difference. And having that Kerrigan for the engage really breaks up, where are you going to stand for the Ravenous? Where are you going to sit, over as a siege tank? If you get pulled in by a Kerrigan and she rewinds, there's almost guaranteed no place you can go because the timing of it all, especially with quick fingers, Glorong has them. Mm-hmm. You're gonna drop because it's 100 CC with the rest of everyone. You got the Uther on top of that. You got the Arthas on top of it. I think it was just a draft. I really think it was just a big draft right there.
Yeah, remember, ladies, Glorong's got the quick fingers. I'm sorry.
The quick fingers. All right. Enough of that. We're gonna get.
Sorry, I just had to. I just started laughing.